All right, welcome everybody to the RPMA webinar on building your business. And today I've got two exciting presenters that are actually going to talk to us. The first one is Didi Skinner. Now, Didi started her Property Scouts franchise in January 2020. She now employs 2 property managers and she's averaging 10 properties per month. So Didi's just taken out the Northland RPMA Property Manager of the Year. So welcome, Didi.
Thank you.
All right, and the other presenter today is Andrew Williams. Andrew started out in property management. I don't know whether he started. I hope you have to correct me here, but he was a business development manager for Tremaine Real Estate in Hawke's Bay, and then he went on to join the sales team. And in mid-2020, he decided to join Pukeka Rental Managers. And Andrew has just taken out the RPMA Hawke's Bay Property Manager of the Year. So we've got a couple of high performers here to share with you today. So before I actually start getting into presenting the curly questions to them, just if you could just remember that I'll state it again, the Q&A button down the bottom of your screen. At any time, please put in your questions. We have got the ability for you to upgrade or like other people's questions, and we can either take them during the time, or otherwise I'll leave them till the end. All right, guys, I'm going to actually kick off my first question with Andrew. And now, Andrew, you were a business development manager for Tremaine's. Now that you're a business owner, do you feel that it's an advantage in looking after new business as a business owner rather than a business development manager?
Yeah, thanks, David. Hey, look, there's two ways of looking at it. Obviously, as a business owner, I use that as a strong selling point. I mean, you are the face and the business, so it gives, you can exude a lot of confidence towards a potential customer by stating, hey, you're sitting with the business owner here now as well. With a BDM though, there is some benefits around that because of course it takes the pressure away from the business owner, but a BDM does need to be highly incentivized. And they also need to have a very good relationship with the property management team. They need to feel confident that, once the business has been brought in and handed over to the property manager, that the ball's not going to be dropped at some stage. So, I mean, there's two benefits. There's two sides to every story. And basically, I've been in both positions, or obviously as a business owner now.
Cool. Anything that you'd like to add, Didi?
No, I think it's Andrew's probably hit it on the head there. I think the only other thing is I don't think you should feel bad if it's not your forte. If it's not what you're strong at, then by all means delegate it to somebody who's got those strengths. But I agree with Andrew, that person needs to really care, really know what it's about, and really be incentivized. They need to really work towards it. So yeah, no, I agree with that.
Okay, cool. Very good. All right, Didi, you're up next. What do you do to ensure that you're putting aside enough time for business development?
Okay, I think in my world, a lot works around goals. So I make sure that I have my goals set daily. Every morning before I start, I've got my goals out for the day, monthly, quarterly, weekly, all the way through to every 10 years. So I know what I need to do to get to those goals. And I have we have a little thing here at our office about eating your frog in the morning. Every morning, I put those things that are the hardest for me to do, the things that I keep on putting off. I put them right in the top of my diary. I do them first, and that really gets me through the day and gets me to hit those goals. And that makes me put that time aside, which is really important.
All right. And Andrew?
Yeah, look, I think Didi's hit the nail on the head there, particularly around your goal setting. You've got to set out a business plan going forward. I mean, anyone who's in business, and I mean, even if you're in a sales type environment or a BDM type role as well, you need to have a plan in place, even if it's with the business owner, if you're a BDM, and you need to plan your day and week. You've got to get structured in what you're doing. Obviously, as a BDM, because you're not a property manager or a business owner, you can solely focus on new business. So it becomes a lot easier from that point of view. But of course, when you're the business owner and the property manager and everything else, you've got to allocate time for everything. But when the opportunities are out there, you've got to go after them. It's as simple as that. Once something's there, don't wait. Pick that phone up or make an appointment to go and see somebody.
Very good. Andrew, what helps you to remain motivated?
I think the big thing, David, is knowing your why. It's about, why am I doing this? It's not only have I had quite a bit of experience, obviously, in the property management industry now, but it's something I really enjoy for my own business. I get a kick out of it. I'm excited by it. I'm linked into an excellent brand, if not the best in New Zealand. And yeah, look, it's also results. Out there getting results keeps you motivated, keeps the action levels going. Yeah, I suppose that's probably the key to it, really.
Okay. And Didi, how do you stay motivated?
Yeah, the results one is the one for me. If I know that I'm going for a certain result and I've got a certain goal and I hit that goal, I share it with everyone. Everybody has a big party with me, and unfortunately the other way around. So yeah, I really work hard to get my goals, know what I have to get to them, and then celebrate every high. Look into the ones you didn't make, but let them go, and then put a new goal and celebrate it when you get there.
No, very good. All right. Now, this will be a topic that people would like to know. You've got all those marketing people out there, and they're trying to tell everyone, use us if you're wanting to actually grow. But Didi, what are the key items or the key things that you do to get more business?
Networking has been my strength when it comes to new business. Look, in the beginning, it's really hard because you don't have those networks. So it's important that you get out there, you go and meet as many people as possible. You network with as many people as possible. I've got to admit, BNI has played a big role for me. Joining a local business group, joining a local community service, joining your local council. It seems like all of those things are a little bit, money flowing out and time flowing out. But the more time you're investing in your community and the people around you, from church all the way through to BNI, to business groups, to community groups, those are the places which gets me out there. And then I form those networks, form the trust, and people will refer to you.
Very good. And Andrew?
Yeah, look, it's that's also a very big thing in my book as well. Your circle of influence, we always talk about that too. Don't ever be afraid to ask the questions of the people that you actually know really well. You'd be quietly surprised if you do, just how many of them will actually give you a lead or enter your name and a number to actually follow up on. Referrals, of course, are really big. I work a lot on a referral basis because of a network that I've built with the real estate industry. I do a lot of work for sales agents as well by appraising property and providing basically property management advice for them. These are predominantly companies that don't have a property management division there. And from there, that's where the referral network is really big. And as you get the opportunity, they swing the door open for you and in you go. So it's just being there, holding their hands. And then it's really like, I suppose, as Didi said, even joining things like sports clubs and stuff like that. If you're a bit younger, I'm past being playing rugby these days, but if I was 20 again, I certainly would be doing something around, or even in your 30s, I suppose, doing something around joining sports clubs and that sort of stuff as well. But, don't be afraid to go and ask the question, go and talk to people. That's the key to the whole thing. You just can't sit at home and expect the phone to ring. You've actually got to get active with this business and go and talk to people.
Okay, no, that's great. Just building on that, Andrew, when it comes to prospecting activities, a lot of the members will actually be told, you need to do this and you need to do that. But what would be the sort of the top couple or two or three things that you believe that are essential as a foundation to doing prospecting activities?
So probably, David, I've learned that it's once you get relationships and contact, well, particularly the relationships in place, if I come back to, say, for example, the real estate side of it, is just constantly keeping in touch with these people, with the real estate agents, for example, and also any leads that come from it. So, you know, you've got to make time during the day to call people. You know, I've always said that another activity is, you know, make sure you hand out 5 business cards every day. I'm probably not doing so much of that at the moment. But, you know, just little things like that, you're constantly just putting your name in front of people the whole time. And, you know, if the other thing you could do, for example, is, you know, particularly with a real estate company, for example, that hasn't got a property management business, you know, go to the sales meeting, become the expert there for them, you know, take the morning tea in the morning, you know, be there to answer the property management questions. They're the really key things, because inside these teams, they don't understand that side of it. And if someone's there to hold their hand, it's massive benefits. So, yeah.
All right, Didi, what are the key activities that you see are really important for the viewers to grab hold of?
I hear everything that Andrew is saying there, and definitely all of those things. What I was going to just touch on, which he was saying there, and just expand on a little bit. Be careful that when you're prospecting where the gold is, because there's a lot of people out there that you can link up with, and that's all part of your network, but make sure that you're going for the gold. So identify which owners you really want, then go and prospect where they hang out. So if you've got 2 agents that you're buying coffee for, the one is selling homes up in the family area for mum and dad, and the other one is selling homes to investors in the lower decile area and maybe selling $500,000 homes, which is all going to be rentals. Which one are you spending the most of your time with? So make sure that you know who you prospecting for, where's the gold, and then you work those prospects. Those are the ones you spend your quality time on. And the others, of course, you're also going to keep touch with them, but you want to be spending your time with those ones.
David, if I could just add a couple more things in there. I mean, I don't know, Didi, whether you're the same, but things like your professional networks as well. You'd be surprised. We've all got accountants and lawyers. I mean, if you own a property, you're going to have a solicitor somewhere. Don't be afraid to go along and set a relationship with that particular firm. Take the morning tea. Go and discuss it with them. Let's face it, they're representing property owners across your area or wherever your city is, you know, that you're operating in. The accountants are the same, mortgage brokers, insurance brokers. You know, look, these are easy people to ring up, you know, and particularly if you've got your own insurance broker, ring them up, go and say good day to them, go and have a beer with them, a cup of coffee or whatever, and just chat them through it. And you'd be quietly surprised over time that if you keep that networking, keep it going, and keep the contact in place with them, the business will start happening. I mean, it might be massive at the start, but you've just got to keep at it, keep at it, keep at it.
Thanks for that, Andrew. All right, Didi. The next question is, how do you personally prepare to get ready for a presentation to an owner?
Okay, so I believe it has to be really professional. I got quite a lot of nice layouts and ideas from Property Scouts franchise when I started with them. And I've really worked around that frame that they've given me about being professional, you know, rocking up with your car clean, your uniform clean, being on time, having your phone off, all those basic things which we didn't get taught at school. You know, just being professional, being prepared, having your documents with you, having the property management agreement halfway completed already for your client. Obviously, it has to be clean, it has to be well presented, but there's the other things that really makes a difference. Know your clients before you arrive. I Facebook stalk, Google stalk my clients. You know, if I'm going to see Andrew Bain this afternoon, I will know everything about him that I can find out. Where's his batch? Does he play golf? Does his mother have a rose collection? Everything, so that I can find the common ground. If we can find out that both of our sons are playing in the same rugby team or whatever the common ground is, I've got something to discuss with him when I'm walking from my car to the house. By the time we're sitting down, we already feel like we're friends. So know your client, know your property, know where the property is, Google stalk the property, make sure you've gone to Property Guru and you've known exactly what's happening with that property. When was it sold? When was it bought? How does it look now? So you don't get there and there's surprises and you look all unprofessional. Then when you're sitting down with your client, make sure you're identifying what does he want from you. You know, don't just spout off with, this is what I'm going to give you. Listen to what they want. He's got a problem that he wants you to solve. Listen to the problem and then solve it for him. But don't just tell him what you're going to do. Tell him a story. So tell him about the time that, you know, you had Jenny and Dave and they had this meth lab and they had to get it out of their house. And he can identify with a story from a local community or somebody he knows. So identify the problem, tell a story about how you're going to solve it for him, give him an example that he can understand and that he can relate to, and then make sure all of that is tied off professionally by getting back to him, you know, within the right time period. And then, of course, give him a bit of time and follow up and follow up until you get that signature.
Okay. And Andrew, your thoughts? Yeah, great, Didi. I mean, just to add into that, I'm a fervent believer in practicing your presentation. I mean, it's something that you develop over time because you need to have some failures. I'll be straight up and down about it. You need to go and present a few times, probably get knocked back. One of the biggest things I could say to that is actually pick the phone up if you miss out on the contract or the management agreement and ask the question why you didn't get it, because that's actually how you learn. What was it? The fact they had a relationship with another company, or the fees weren't right, or they didn't feel comfortable with you, or whatever. You can actually grow from there. But one of the key things I find is that it's about knowledge, and it's about product knowledge, because knowledge is power when you're sitting there with somebody. And if you can sit in front of somebody, and a little bit as Didi said, and you listen to them, you're there to answer a question. Remember, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. And at the end of the day, if you're knowledgeable into your local market, I mean, fundamentally, if you're a BDM or a business owner who's presenting, you need to understand what your market is doing. And one of the first things I would suggest is, if you're new to it, is to actually set about doing the mystery shopper. Find out what all your opposition are doing. I mean, you need to have that at your fingertips. If you're going to get asked around, you know, the fees, oh, so-and-so is only doing the fees at, 2% less. Explain to them, at the end of the day, that's possibly only a cup of coffee a week less than what, you're going to be a cup of coffee more a week than, say, your opposition. But it's about selling the quality and the service and just talking people through it. And as Didi said, answering the questions for them. But knowledge, I come back to it all the time. If you know everything in your local market, what your opposition's doing, the values of the property, so you can sit there confidently and say, right, it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home sitting in the Havelock North Hills. It's going to rent for $850 to $900 a week. It just gives them confidence. It gives them the ability to say, this guy knows what he's doing. And I've got one, for example, in Havelock North, in exactly that situation where they said to me, or they replied by email the next day and said, we're really delighted. We'd like to work with you simply around the fact of your knowledge, your expertise of the area, and we feel very confident with you. So, I can't reiterate that enough. And it's just practice. Don't be afraid. If you're in a work environment with several other property managers or even salespeople or whoever, practice with them. Get them to ask you random questions about it. But understand your market. That is, to me, is a really big thing as well. Okay. Yeah, Andrew, the next question is very similar, but it's about presenting a powerful listing presentation. What is the key to presenting a powerful presentation that you think for the client? Okay, so I'm a little bit different, David. I've learned over the years. I suppose it's a confidence thing for me. I don't necessarily go in with absolute preset ideas, but the big thing for me is actually going in and understanding the situation. So I'm asking the questions first, and then my presentation starts developing out from it. And really, it's finding out and drilling down, as Didi said, as to what their key problems are, what their questions are, and holding their hand around it. And so that's how I build my presentation. And then I go away and say, basically before I go, I say to them, right, I'm going to follow up with an email that has obviously extra information about what I do. Copies. I don't even take the management agreement with me. All right. I'll have one in the car, but most of the times I just don't do it. I mean, I'm there to talk to them, build that relationship, understand what they want, and then formulate a package that's going to work for them. And then I send the email through that follows up, basically with the extra information, links into the website, my own website, that sort of stuff as well. So they can actually sit in their own time and look at it. And then, as Didi said, the follow-up. That has to happen. You don't go waiting 2 weeks. You need to be acting on it really, really quickly. Like I'd be inside probably 48 hours Just every time you make touch base with these people, it's just another touch point, it's another relationship call.
Okay, no, thanks for Andrew. And I suspect, Didi, you're very similar, as top performers as well. It's not, but I'll hear from you. What's the key for you for a powerful listing presentation?
Yeah, quite strangely, here's one that we're not very similar in. I can't work without that property management agreement. I use it as a framework. I tend to get a little sidetracked. As you can hear, I like talking quite a lot. So I get sidetracked and I don't stick to the points and I can miss things. And sometimes the owners has questions that, I wouldn't raise, and then somebody else would raise that and they'd sneak in underneath me. So I keep those, the property management agreement as a framework to work through with my owner. And by the time that they've finished filling in that entire property management agreement with me, they have almost kind of committed. I've already filled this thing in now, I'm already like 3/4 of the way there. So just as well sign it and finish this off. But but without the pressure, but still, I use the property management agreement. I've got to say it kind of guides me through the process.
Very good. Oh, well, actually, I thought you might have been similar, but you weren't. That's okay. That's good. It's really good for those who are watching the webinar. All right, Didi. Why is your unique selling points or USPs important?
Look, it's obviously important that you have something to offer somebody that's better than the next guy. I think what is even more important than the unique selling point is, does other people know what it is? And that's what's catchy. So first you've got to get that what is your unique selling point, and then you've got to make sure other people knows what it is. So I think if you have a good unique selling point and you're making sure other people knows what it is, and you can accurately communicate that to the person that you're discussing it with, then it's going to make the difference on whether they choose you above someone else, and how quickly they choose you, how quickly they sign up, how quickly they feel they can trust you. So yes, very important. Make sure you know what it is, make sure you know how to communicate it to people, and make sure that you follow up on it, that you deliver on it.
Right.
And Andrew?
Yeah, look, a unique selling point. I mean, I like the one that we use at Pukeko, of course, that we don't want to be the biggest, just the best. But it's all about also, providing a really good service and very good at communication. These are the key things going forward that, what is the difference that you can offer somebody? And you've got to be able to just talk that through with people so they can see the confidence exuding from you, as opposed to, say, one of your competitors that's going in there. You want your people feeling confident around you. And I always come back to the same old thing, once you've got that knowledge and you've built up that confidence around it, it will radiate from you.
Okay, great. I'm going to jump a question here. I think the next question I had on my list, I didn't realize how similar it was, so we won't ask it again. But I want to actually touch on now current client satisfaction. And is this important to the growth of your business? And we'll start with Didi.
Current client satisfaction, right. So it is, I mean, obviously, if your clients are not happy, you're going to start losing them. We have a little system here where we say each client needs to be touch based with a certain amount of times. I often say to people, the reason why my client stays with us is because I'm willing to pick up the phone and talk to them. If you even wonder what your owner is going to think about it, just pick up the phone and call them. Don't text, don't email, don't wonder, don't wait until they call you. If they're calling you first, something's gone wrong. So, I'm always saying to people, just pick up the phone and call, talk to them personally. So client satisfaction is going to be whether you've got their trust, whether you can deliver on it, and if anything goes wrong, whether you're communicating that well. And then you still need to send the email to record that you've had that conversation. You still need to record all the conversations you've had with your owners, that personal touch of the phone call, and then obviously trying to catch up with them with a coffee. I try to, and I know this is very controversial, but I try to encourage my owners to do an inspection with me once a year. So I know it sounds a little bit different. There's lots of people that doesn't agree with it, but I find real value in that. It gives me a chance to meet up with my owners. Gives me a chance for them to see the property again. So it's all around, keeping them partnered up with me and keeping them part of the journey.
Very good. And Andrew?
Yeah, I agree with Didi on a lot of those comments made there. Your relationship with your tenants and your owners, it becomes a referral network. And I've got a classic case where I've got some tenants at the moment who are very happy with how things are going. They want to buy an investment property soon, probably inside the next year, and are looking at travelling overseas because they're a younger couple. And the first thing they've said to me is that, hey, we're going to get you to manage the property because of how you're treating us. So it gets back to a satisfaction thing. And the same with the owners, it's like go the extra mile. I always remember, I suppose, my days in property management, a little bit like Didi said, it's eat the frog. And I always remember, you always have those tricky conversations where you think an owner's going to come down the phone at you, they've got a problem to sort out. So you keep on putting your head in the sand, you'll wait 2 days, 3 days, and it's hurting you more and more, and you've got to do it. Pick the phone up and do it straight away, but go in with a solution as to how to possibly fix the problem. And you'll be surprised. The owners will turn around and go, wonderful, thank you so much for calling me. Just go ahead and get it fixed. So, don't be afraid to pick the phone up. And also, I think that communication levels with owners that I've learned over the years in different companies I've worked in is really, really important. If they're confident and they're happy with the communication levels around it, they'll certainly recommend extra properties to you. And so it's entirely important. And I think for property managers and even business owners too, that don't lose sight of the tenants. I mean, years ago it used to be about the property and the owner, and not so much the tenants. Now it's very much about the tenants as well. And I think they can add some real value to all our businesses.
No, very good points. Well, guys, I think that covers the major part. I'm actually, for those who are viewing now, I'm going to open it up for questions and answers. So here's an opportunity. If there's something that you wanted to ask Andrew and Didi, then please just get on the keyboard and start typing up your question, because we love to answer them for you. But I have got a question here to start with, and this is from Jimmy, and Jimmy asks a question for both of us. How do you decide what business to turn down?
Well, if you want me to start, I'm very set in my areas, and for example, here in Hawke's Bay under my Pukeko brand, that the particular areas that I won't take property in, simply because of my experiences in years gone by in property management businesses where I've had to take the absolute low end of the market. I've had to deal with mobsters, all those sorts of things as well, bad tenants. But I think the key to the whole thing for me is that it's about finding owners that actually want to look after a property. They want to spend money on a property. They want tenants to be really happy with it. And I think they're the people, as long as they're prepared to put that effort into it and understand the benefits of having a warm, healthy home for a tenant, that they're going to be a good owner. But if someone's balking at wanting to spend a bit of money on a healthy homes report or doing some maintenance around the property, they'd be people I'd turn around and say, I don't want to do business with them. And I'd rather, David knows this, I just won't take the properties on. And in the last, not quite 2 years of Pukeko already, I mean, I've turned down probably in excess of 30 properties, just simply because I just don't feel they're up to it, or the owners aren't up to it.
Wow. Okay. Didi. So we'll put the question over to you now.
It's another difference. I don't turn properties down easily. I believe in trying to get a way around it. It has to be legal. So there's one I will turn it down if it's not legal. Obviously, building consents and the normal things. Integrity is what my business is built on. So I won't do anything that's illegal or that is going to damage the integrity of even myself or any of my staff. So those are the things that, when it comes to integrity, that's the big thing. We have a little thing here in our office where the staff can come and put in a complaint against the tenant or an owner, and we will put that on a little blacklist in our office. And at some stage, if we feel that that owner tenant property is causing us more maintenance than, or time or effort or sorrow, then we think that's fair, then we will contact that particular owner and give them an option of correcting that, or otherwise we will fire them. Yeah, hard, but yes, you need to spend your time and your energies and your focus on those things that is good for your company, yourself, and your staff.
Yeah. David, if I could just add to that, look, I mean, the way I look at it in my particular example I've just given is because I'm my own business. I don't have a property manager. I am the property manager. I'm the business owner. I'm the BDM. That's the reason why I take the line I do. But when you're working inside a company, for example, that you have, I don't know, anywhere between 2 to 6, say, property managers, and you're the BDM, it becomes a completely different story. And that's when you're working for the company as well. You're actually working for somebody else. And hey, at the end of the day, if you're incentivized to bring new property in, you're going to take the properties on, right? But I agree with Didi. It comes back to making sure that the property is up to spec and that everything is legal with it. I can still remember as a BDM with Tremaines that there were several properties that we turned down simply because they weren't up to spec or the owners weren't going to do the work on it. And some owners particularly, it's all about the dollar. They want as much rent as possible, but they won't pay to have anything done at the property. So there's the two scenarios there. That's how I see it anyway, from my own experience.
Yeah, no, I think both of you are right. I think at the end of the day, you don't have to be in property management for very long to realise that not all business is good business. You know, it's the old, as I was talking to somebody the other day from Christchurch, they said, you know, 5% of those properties could cause you 85% of your work. And so that's something that you have to take into account. Just for a few viewers, though, I just heard another story from an operator who was very concerned because they were getting complaint. The owners weren't spending the money on the properties, and she actually decided to take the knife to it and said to there's two owners. One owner, look, I'm not looking after your property anymore, and of course, then it got, you know, they're complaining to their bosses and complaining and saying, oh, well, you know, and putting it back on the property manager. But another case where there was 5 properties involved, the owner came, got on a plane, came to town and said, right, let's go and visit the properties. I'm going to get them all up to scratch, because the actual property manager made a stand and said, I'm not willing to take them because they're not up to standard. And so it provoked 2 different responses. And so, thinking that she might lose all these properties by taking a hard stand, in fact, she actually improved the performance with the owner, which was quite interesting.
I think owners, David, if I could cut in there too, owners actually like that. You know, it's the fact that you're not necessarily, I suppose, standing up to them, but the fact you're actually giving them a solution or telling them the problem, and this is how it can be done or what should be done. I mean, they respect you for it, you know. I think so too. No more. I haven't got any more questions. People who are watching this webinar, if you've got any questions, here's an opportunity to have Didi and Andrew, lots of experience, award-winning property managers. Really look forward to your questions. I'll give you another minute. Otherwise, you might lose the opportunity. So
I was going to just bring in that one thing about those loyalty, those selling points that we were talking about earlier. I was going to say, just to expand a little bit on who you're bringing those selling points to. If you identify which kind of owner you want, you know, we was just saying there's some of those owners that you don't really want there. You identify which owner you want. Just take that owner that doesn't want to do anything. He's got the one single property that he inherited from his uncle, and he wants the most rent. He doesn't want to do any work on it, and he's on the phone every day to you complaining about, he doesn't want to spend money on paint. He doesn't want to spend. That's the guy that the clients see, that you don't really need that much, too much energy on that one. And then you've got client A, which is the investor, and he's onto it and he's paying his normal fees and he wants to take part in this, and he's client A. So when you're looking at setting your unique selling point, what is going to hook client A and keep him with you. You know, maybe time is an issue for him. So what can you do to save him time? Find a unique selling point that's going to hook client A. Don't worry as much about the client C. That's not the one you want to hook and hold on to. So just customize your unique selling point to client A.
Okay. No, very good. And we have got another question from Pauline. Focusing on advertising. What have you found to be the best way to get new business if you're going to spend money on advertising? Who's going to go first? Didi, come on.
Well, it's going to go back to that focusing on your client A's. So decide who you want to hook, who's the people you want to get to, and then go for those particular ones. I am spending a lot of time and energy at the moment on my investors clients. Those are the guys that wants to come in now and use this opportunity of the market slowly falling and just going towards that dip. So I've suddenly got all these investors interested in the market. They're all wanting to buy while we're on the downward market. So I'm trying to hit all the Auckland clients and the Wellington clients who wants to buy in Whangarei at the moment, because Whangarei is in a special place in that market and they can't get here. So I'm running around on Saturdays and Sundays doing free viewings for my clients. So people are calling me up saying, I heard that you're willing to do a free viewing if you manage the property for me. And I said, I'm your girl. So I'm out there videoing, checking it out, giving them free healthy home assessments, and that's bringing my clients in. So advertising, I'm advertising for those ones in the places where they'll be looking for properties.
Very good. Yeah, Andrew?
Look, if I could add to that, certainly I do more an indirect approach, I suppose, where it's a little bit like Didi there. I work with a number of agents from different companies down here in Hawke's Bay where I do appraisal work for them. I probably do more than I probably really need to, but at the end of the day, I look at the bigger picture. These guys are running open homes every single weekend, and my rental appraisals are sitting in there with my name, the Pukeko brand on the top of it, at every single open home. And it's amazing the number of calls that I get from people just asking me investment questions based on the fact that they've picked this up at the open home, not necessarily being, recommended by the agent as such, but the fact that I'm quietly there with my information in front of people and with those audiences is another way of generating business. I haven't been someone that's huge on social media or anything. As I said, I tend to take a more slightly indirect way of where I'm going and how I'm getting my name and information out there.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, we've unless there's someone wants to do a quick question, I think we're just about there. And if one pops up, I'll certainly ask it. But thank you both for taking the time this morning to actually come and do this webinar. I think people who are wanting to get refocused and wanting to grow, this webinar has been very helpful. So thanks, Didi and Andrew, for your time and your experience and sharing with us. So,
pleasure.
David, if I could just say in there, look, I'm only a phone call away for people. If you just want to talk and discuss stuff, I'm very happy to do that. If you want to hear from experiences or something that I've had myself, I'm very happy to, to explain it or talk you through it. And that goes out to anybody basically that's watching this webinar.
Okay, well, that's a very generous offer, Andrew. I'll stop.